Released in 1991 for the SEGA Genesis, Jewel Master is a side-scrolling action game where you take control of some muscled-up dude with a very unique walking animation, who has a thing for colorful rings with funky powers. In today's video, I present you with my review for Jewel Master on the SEGA Genesis. The story goes like this. There's a place known as Mythgard, a peaceful place that is super chill and everyone gets along, until this dude shows up known as the Demon King, Jardine the Mad, starting all kinds of mess. So these 12 dudes, called the Masters of the Elements, weren't having it and rose up against Sardine in a fierce battle, until there were only 4 left standing. The remaining Masters pooled together their powers and created the Holy Blade, and prepared for the final battle. You, the Jewel Master, are then entrusted with the task of obtaining magical rings these Masters of the Elements carelessly left laying around for your enemies to get their grubby hands on. These rings, as one would assume, will aid you in your fight, stage after stage, right up until and through the final showdown with Sardine himself. The graphics are very nice in Jewel Master, a part of the game I can definitely appreciate. The backgrounds are very well done, each one representing an exclusive environment per stage. There is a forest, a desert, an ice cave, ancient ruins, a castle-like area, and some elevated platforming spots toward the end of your journey. I'm very fond of the forest area. The overcast sky has some neat scrolling layers, and there are these tall evergreen trees which are nice to look at. And when you come to what looks like some ancient ruins covered in moss and vines, it all just fits together so well. Overall, everything pops with the right amount of color and detail that make up some very nice stages. Enemies are also decently designed, offering a wide assortment of unique appearances to choose from. Much like the environments, with a few exceptions, the enemies don't really repeat all that often. I have found that most of them are exclusive to the stage you're on. Hats off to SEGA for giving players a unique experience with every area visited. Bosses also share in some of that graphical goodness as well. They all make good use of their respective color palettes and are nicely detailed. The soundtrack is in full beast mode here, riding right along with you throughout your journey. Right from the title screen, when you see the Holy Blade appear and then break apart, Tinkle of the Rings chimes in, an immediate indication that the music sets a mood that is most definitely on point. One of the most memorable tracks for me is the aptly named Jewel Master. This is the track for Stage 1. Something I've heard countless times over the years, and is the perfect track for ushering in the beginning of a great adventure. The music for Stage 2, The Gate of Delirium, is a fun and upbeat track that just may get stuck in your head. Stage 4's Fish Out of Water, however, kicks the doors wide open, inviting itself right on in, demanding that you give it some undivided attention. I really enjoy this one a lot. The entire soundtrack is a blast, and one I often listen to outside of playing the game. As for the sound effects, there isn't anything overly fancy, but they all fit the game rather well. I do have one minor gripe though, and that's with the sound of firing off the blue ring that shoots out projectiles in a wave-like pattern. Quite frankly, being a great ring to use, it sounded a little weak, perhaps like a cheap coach whistle being blown by someone who's got a mouthful of donuts while trying to break dance underwater. Truthfully, I have no idea if that's even possible, but hey, you can't beat the visual. The game isn't that difficult to get through if you take your time and pay attention, but that doesn't mean there isn't any challenge here. You will encounter some cheap hits here and there, and your health can easily be knocked back if you bum rush the show, yo. I do want to stress the importance of using the correct combination of rings, as it will help you greatly in being the best Jewel Master you can be. Going into it rings a-blazing isn't the best option if you hope to be successful. Regarding flying enemies, it appears they have very small hitboxes, sometimes making it a pain to take them down. Oftentimes they will fly right into you and keep going, because screw your feelings. The moths, found in Stage 2, are the worst offenders. Other flyers aren't as bad to deal with. Bosses are a little light on the difficulty, but it certainly helps to study their patterns. Once you get them down, it makes things so much easier. For instance, the first boss has a bad case of the zoomies and will continually run toward and jump over you. If you point upward while taking small steps, you can easily put this bad cat to bed. Regarding the hard difficulty, I didn't notice much of a difference between that and the normal setting. Then again, I only tested this for a couple of stages, so it may become more challenging the further you go. The Jewel Master moves about pretty decently, as one would hope. That is until you pick up the ring that makes you move more quickly. At this point, you'll wish this was the default movement speed. You can duck, jump, and move left or right while in midair, and you have an assortment of rings at your disposal, provided you find them. You can wear 2 rings per hand, and you start the game with 2 rings to choose from, a red flame ring and a blue barrier ring. There are a total of 12 rings. 3 red, 3 blue, 3 green, and 3 gray. Certain enemies and bosses will drop rings when defeated. Considering you start with 2, you only have to collect 10. For a list of the ring's abilities, have a look at this image. Pay close attention to the last item listed. I can promise you this is false. When you press start, you'll be greeted with the ring selection screen. Pressing the A button will clear all rings from your hands. Pressing the C button while highlighting a ring will select that ring. When a ring is selected using the D-pad, you can then go to an open slot on either the left or the right hand and press the C button to place that ring on a finger of your choosing. To remove a particular ring from either hand, highlight the ring and press the C button to select that ring, and then press the B button to return the ring to the ring column. When highlighting a ring, you will notice that none of the rings have display names or indicate what they do. Only when a ring is placed on your finger can you see what effect it offers. It's kind of a guessing game at this point which ring does what when paired with another, so you should take notes or memorize useful combinations. I gotta say it, I love this game. I enjoy the visuals, music, level design, and overall gameplay as a whole. For me, it's definitely worth revisiting as much as convenience allows. I have a great appreciation for how well this game is put together. It's a fantastic game that should be in everyone's SEGA Genesis collection for sure. And as far as I understand, doesn't cost a whole lot to get your hands on either. The only setback about Jewel Master is that it's a one-player adventure, but that doesn't in any way detract from the fun factor. However, it would have been nice to have a buddy tag along. It is without a doubt an early offering with enough polish to stand the test of time, and one of the best games in the SEGA Genesis library. I can't imagine anyone owning this one and not playing it on the regular. On Stage 3, the Ice Cave, for whatever reason you cannot simply walk on the surface as easily as you have everywhere else. You have to jump to progress in most places. The same thing happens in Stage 5, except you cannot walk upstairs. I find this kind of odd, considering there were other games out there that featured walking upstairs, such as Castlevania, and this was long before Jewel Master was a thing. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, Mr. Jewel Master has a very unique walking animation, one in fact that I really enjoy. Personally, I wish I could pull that off as effortlessly as he does. I don't know if I would do that in church though. Yeah, I don't think Jesus would take me too seriously. Moving on. There is only one thing that I can think of with this game where it loses a little bit of its shine, and that is in the ring selection screen. Although doable, it would have been nice to have seen this cleaned up a bit, displaying the name of each ring and its effects without having to equip anything. Be on the lookout for fairies. There are a total of 4 hidden in certain stages: earth, wind, fire, and water. Each one will add 1 life unit to your life gauge. And lastly, this game needs a proper reboot. I'm sure fans would go ecstatic if Sega gave us one. This is Random Battle signing off, and until next time, stay proud and battle on.